All right, let's talk about something we've all been through. You've got a ton of survey responses, a mountain of data from Google Forms, and you're staring at it thinking, how do I turn all of this into something that actually makes sense? Today, we're going to do just that.
So you did it. You put in the hard work, your survey was a huge success, and the responses are pouring in. You excitedly open up that Google Sheet, ready for some big insights, and you're greeted with, well, you know what's coming.
It's just a wall of words, a chaotic jumble of answers. How on earth are you supposed to analyze this? What's the average of sometimes and often? It feels like you're trying to do math with a dictionary. It's a real headache.
And this brings us right to the heart of the matter. We're going to call this the data dilemma. Before we can even think about finding those amazing insights, we have to get past this fundamental roadblock of just having a spreadsheet full of text.
Here's the most important rule, the one thing you really need to get. You can't do math on words. It's as simple as that. To find trends, to test your ideas, to really understand what people think, we absolutely must turn those feelings into numbers.
So how do we actually do that? How do we make the jump from words to numbers? Well, in this next part, we're going to walk through the exact steps to turn that chaotic wall of text into clean, beautiful, analysis-ready numbers.
The hero of our story is the good old Likert scale. You've seen it a million times. Its whole job, its entire reason for being, is to put a number on an opinion. It's the essential bridge that takes us from a subjective feeling to an objective figure.
Our game plan here is a simple three-phase workflow. It's really straightforward. First, we're going to structure our data by creating a kind of translation key. Second, we'll use a simple formula to automatically convert every single text response into its number. And third, we'll start grouping those numbers into bigger, more meaningful themes. Step one is creating what I like to call a translation dictionary. Think of it as a cheat sheet for your spreadsheet. In a separate tab, you lay down the law. Strongly disagree is always a 1. Agree is always a 4. Never is a 1. You get the idea. You define the rules for every possible answer. And boom, this is the magic. With a formula like VLOOKUP pointing to our dictionary, every single text response instantly gets converted into its proper number. And the best part? It's completely automatic. Every new response that comes in gets translated on the fly. Your messy sheet is now a pristine, organized data set.
Okay, so we've got our numbers. Now the fun really begins. We can finally stop looking at individual little answers and start zooming out to see the big picture, to find those bigger ideas that are hiding in the data.
And the way we do this is by grouping related questions into something researchers call constructs. A construct is just a big idea, like, say, job satisfaction or brand loyalty. You can't really measure a huge idea like that with just one question, right? So instead, we measure it by combining the scores from several related questions.
Here's exactly how it works. Let's say we want to create a score for the theory-practice gap for a single person. We just find their number scores for questions 2, 3, 14, and 15, and we just average them. That's it. Suddenly you have one single, powerful number that represents a really complex idea.
So this is awesome. We have these really meaningful scores. We're starting to see the big picture. But hang on a second. This leads to a really important question. How do we know these scores are any good? How do we know we can actually trust them? And this brings us to a step that a lot of people skip, but it's absolutely crucial. Validation. It's not enough to just make up scores. We need to prove statistically that they're solid. This is what separates casual analysis from real, credible research. Our main tool for this job has a fancy name, Cronbach's Alpha. Don't let the name scare you. All it does is check for internal consistency. It basically asks, hey, those questions you grouped together, are they all singing from the same hymn sheet? Are they really measuring the same thing?
I love this analogy. The best way to think about Cronbach's Alpha is as a teamwork score for your questions. If you've got 4 questions to measure one idea, a high score means they are working together beautifully. A low score means one of them is off doing its own thing, and it's messing up your measurement.
So what's a good score? Well, the gold standard, the number everyone looks for in research, is a Cronbach's Alpha of 0.70 or higher. If you hit that number, you can be very confident your construct is reliable.
Now that we know our constructs are solid and trustworthy, we can finally start testing our big ideas using correlation. All this does is measure the relationship between two things. As one thing goes up, does the other go up too? Or maybe it goes down. Correlation gives us the answer. And this is where it all comes together beautifully. Your research questions turn into a simple test plan.
Let's say your hypothesis is that a bigger theory-practice gap lowers a person's confidence. Well, you just run a correlation between your gap score and your confidence score, and you look for a negative result. It's that direct.
So, after all that work, the structuring, the converting, the aggregating, the validating, what do you end up with? Let's take a look at the powerful automated analysis engine that you've just built from the ground up.
What you get in the end is pretty incredible. You have a clean, numeric dataset that automatically updates itself. You've got meaningful scores for every single theme. You have statistics to summarize the trends, reliability scores to prove your data is trustworthy, and correlation results that give you direct answers to your biggest questions.
And this is the key takeaway. Your Google Sheet has been totally transformed. It's not just a dead file where you store answers anymore. No way. It's a living, breathing, automated analysis engine that does the heavy lifting for you in real time.
So you've done it. You've gone from messy clicks to crystal clarity. You've built a system that translates vague opinions into hard insights. Deep down, your data has a story it's dying to tell you. The only question left is, are you finally ready to listen?